So welcome back to another episode of blah blah blah, and that was my intro. It goes for about 42 seconds. Is it too long? Should I cut it down? I got my basic intro, which goes for 4 seconds. I just decided to just play around with some music and just cutting some stuff together, and that one went for about 42 seconds. So is it too long? That's what I'm asking. Just let me know what you think on that, and I'll try and cut it down. I'm looking at the screen as well because I've got to talk about a few things. Now, yeah, let me know what you think. How long should a intro be? Not knocking anybody's channels or anything. I just like to know your thoughts on that. Now, I want to get into talking about the PlayStation 5, the manufacturing costs. A few videos ago, I did my predictions on 2020, and I did say that I thought that the PlayStation 5 and the Series X will be released here in Australia at a price point of $799. I know there was hopes that the price of the PlayStation 5 would be about $499 when it came out here, but because of the materials needed for the PlayStation 5, the prices have actually skyrocketed. So the cost of manufacturing a PlayStation 5 has risen to about $450 US, which is about $669 Australian. Now that's manufacturing costs. That's not taking into consideration profit from Sony, the taxes. The government wants their fair share of whatever gets released over here, and then the stores, they need to make some money off of this thing as well. So currently we are looking at $699 just to manufacture this thing. So I'm still thinking it's still going to be $799 or maybe $769 when it's released here in Australia. Surely Sony and Microsoft are going to be selling these things at a loss and hoping to recoup their money from the sales of software. That's what Nintendo and Sega used to do back in the day. They would sell their consoles at a loss, but they would make up for that in game sales because they were publishing their own games, so they could afford to do that. And I don't know if that's still viable in this day and age, but because of flash memory is expensive and hard to come by, the DRAM as well, and that's going to really make it these costs go up. But also we've got the coronavirus going on over in China, all around the world at the moment, and you got to wonder if that's going to push production back at some stage. If so, then we may not be seeing these systems this year. It's all up in the air at this stage. I'm still thinking November release, but we'll see how that all goes. And also, the Switch is not immune to this as well, and certain things are being hard to come by for the components for the Nintendo Switch as well. So we may see shortages of that at some stage, but it's just a matter of waiting and seeing about that sort of stuff. I had two really good questions from the video I did on games banned in Australia, and I just wanted to go through two of these comments, which was really good. And the first one is from Noel. I think censorship is dumb the vast majority of time. That goes for everywhere, not just Australia. The fact that literally anybody could have walked into the counter and complained about the word orgasm bomb on the back of Gun Girl, and then EB Games immediately gets the game pulled off the shelves doesn't make any sense. That's basically throwing money out the window. And the fact that they banned various anime games because some of the characters look a certain age doesn't make any sense either. How old a character looks in a fictional media does not mean anything. If a character looks a certain age, they are that age. Just because somebody has the power to rate games, think they look otherwise doesn't change the fact. There is a rating system for a reason. 18 plus games are games for adults, but if the rating board in Australia is as bad as you describe them, it sounds like they think adults have minds of impressionable children and will do dumb things if they see them in games or get mortified by seeing some nudity. Seriously, who have died or suffered from seeing a bit of violence and nudity? From my experience, I haven't yet. Do they also have strict censorship when it comes to TV and movies in Australia? Great question, great comment, Noel. As far as TV and movies, I had to look this up. I haven't seen anything for a long time for TV. I think there was one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer which was banned here in Australia. That's the only thing I could find in recent years, but I think for movies and TVs they're more lenient. As far as movies go, I had to go back to the 70s and see movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2 was banned here. I think the Big Boss, Bruce Lee's The Big Boss, was banned here for reasons I don't know. And also another martial art movie was banned in Australia. I think the first movie that was banned here in Australia was back in 1919, a movie called The Bushrangers. And the reasoning for that being banned was because they thought the female audience might have got all worked up, probably seeing bushrangers. It's crazy, but yeah. And I think the movie I Spit on Your Grave, which was released back in 2010, that was banned here in Australia. So that's the last time I know a major film release was banned here. But I think we still get it pretty bad for video games, to be honest with you, more so than movies. It's a great question. Now the next question is from Hypertrigger EX. I discovered his channel. He's only got 4 videos so far on his channel. I gotta say his quality is unbelievable from the very first video. He's putting a lot of big channels to shame as far as the quality goes. I'm pretty sure he's got IKEA shelving like me. Lighting, everything is perfect. I'll leave a link down below. Hypertrigger EX, check out his channel. 4 videos up already. I liked looking at I think it was the Japanese shoot 'em ups, which was really cool. And his comment was, yeah, it sucks that certification branding is so big in Australia. It happens here in Europe a bit, more so in Germany I think. I'm from the UK and have ordered Nintendo Collector's Editions on the Switch, and they are covered in certification labels from different countries in Europe. One really bad example was Bayonetta LE, which came in a smallish box and was covered in certification labels. I was so pissed I sent it back to Nintendo. I remember hearing that censorship in games in Australia was bad back in the day, but I had no idea it was still bad. It sucks that some of the Japanese don't make it 100% intact to the West, but I think it's few and far between, and it really doesn't distract from the experience too much. It's so true. Every now and again I'll order a game from the UK Oz Game Shop and I get it, and it comes here with not only the UK classification label, which I love, it will also come here with the German classification label, like in Bayonetta 1 and 2. That is huge. Now sometimes even you'll see the German classification label, you'll see the European UK classification label, I guess you can say, and then it'll be an Australian classification label on top of that as well. When you look inside there, it's like, ouch, I don't like it. They try to hide the fact that it looks transparent. What's that going to do? It still doesn't hide the fact that it's a big label. It's just crazy. And the same when I got Super Mario Maker. I was so happy when I saw this, the UK classification label, and to my surprise when I opened it up, what was I left with? Yeah. So yeah, I get it. I would hate to see that. Just labels everywhere. It's bad enough when you get the games and there's no game. This game must be still in the Switch, but it's bad enough when you get the labels of various countries on the game disc as well. But I hate it. I hate the classification labels here in Australia. The perfect example would be Spyro the Reignited Trilogy here in Australia. On the bottom of that left hand side of the cover, it's got this big classification label covering up most of Spyro's face, and it's just like, why does this have to be like this? Why can't we have small classification labeling like in Europe, like in America as well? It's just, the government just throws it in our face. It seems to be. I've got mates that don't mind the classification labeling in here in Australia. Fair enough, if they like it, that's fine. But for me, it takes away from the artwork, and especially when you look at Spyro the Dragon, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all why it has to be like that. So thanks for those questions, comments. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you're thinking about the PlayStation 5. The price is going to be high for sure. Will Xbox, Microsoft hold back with a price until Sony actually confirms something? And could we see Nintendo lower their price by $100 for the Switch? That would help them a lot. And also, if they can lower their price of games that have been out for the last couple of years, do the select section like they did with the I think they did it with the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. Put those prices down on a lot of the older games down to $39, $29 to entice people. Interesting times over the next 12 months. Delays could happen because of the coronavirus. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Blah Blah Blah. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.